You are.
Just kidding, guys. We don't have favorites. You're all our favorites. Everyone listening's our favorite. Hope's
I just
winking.
realized
You
maybe I
can't see.
can't
She's
wink.
winking.
I just realized I'm seeing myself wink in this Zoom. Maybe I can't actually wink.
I mean, regardless, a podcast is not the place to learn. You look good. You
Okay.
look good. You're winking.
Yeah.
I knew what
Thank
you were
you.
going for. Yeah.
Probably the most exciting thing that Hayden was in 2005, at least from my perspective, would
And
be Ice
iconic.
Princess.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was an iconic one.
I love this movie. I mean, you watched it recently.
I
Do you want to
did.
talk about it?
Sure. Ice Princess is about Michelle Trachtenberg. She is a physics whiz,
Yeah.
and in order to get a scholarship to go to Harvard, she does a project about figure skating and seeing basically if she can apply the rules of physics to these elite figure skaters and improve their skill.
Hmm.
And then she ends up sort of applying these things herself as someone who isn't a professional figure skater.
Yeah, just
And
someone who grew up like pond skating in her backyard with her mother, Joan
exactly,
Cusack.
she ends up loving it and being really, really good at it. And then her mom really wants her to go to Harvard, but she really wants to become an Olympian. I will say this is the first time I watched it where I kind of agreed with Joan Cusack. She's like, you can't just abandon everything you've done and go be a figure skater now.
I agree. I have to say it's like Hayden's role in this movie is
Oh yeah,
she's the like the coach's the figure skating coach's daughter. The figure skating coach is obviously Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City. And she was supposed to like be in the Olympics herself. And what was it? Did she have an injury or did she just become pregnant?
she's supposed to be loosely based on Tanya Harding. And so she got kicked out of the Olympics and she couldn't
Ooh.
compete anymore or of like professional figure skating.
Hmm. So
And so
she's putting
now,
all this pressure on her daughter, Hayden, who actually
exactly.
is like not that passionate about figure skating. I think she would just rather be a normal teenager.
Yeah. And by the end of the film, she leaves figure skating. She doesn't want to do it anymore. She just quits, which is good for her. The whole thing is about it's very much like I'm not giving up my dream. I'm giving up yours.
Yes.
Michelle Trachtenberg almost says that exact line to her mom.
How many times has that line been used
I'm sure there's
in
a supercut
children's
somewhere.
media? Like,
I'd love to see it.
High School Musical, like it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
I think that Michelle Trachtenberg is the worst part of this movie. Even as a kid, it bothered me so much. I was like, it does not make sense that you're just because you understand it doesn't mean you can physically do it as quickly and as easily as all of those people who've been training since they were like
I mean,
3.
I am willing to like suspend disbelief that she is this has this supernatural like figure skating talent. I can like kind of get on board with that. But just she knows so little about the world that it's hard for me to believe that she could be successful in it just because she has no idea what she's doing.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what
like
I
at
mean? Like
least
not even the
research it.
skill. Yeah, exactly. But like there's one point where Kim Cattrall buys her new skates, which she thinks is like a really nice thing to do, but it ends up hurting her because she hasn't broken in her skates yet and she does really poorly at competition. And it's like, baby girl, those are the kinds of things. It's like you're too naive for this world. They're gonna chew you up and spit you out.
You're like, this ice skating rink isn't big enough for the both of us. I
um,
love movies about ice skating though. Like I love them.
yeah,
She just bothered me in it. The
yeah,
character.
the character, absolutely. I totally get that. I also saw recently a lot of people talking about Ice Princess because of the way it talks about like diets for these girls and stuff.
Oh, really?
Because there's a lot of talk of like they're on really restrictive diets and things like that. There's a part where Hayden Panettiere orders a salad and she asks for a quarter cup of cheese, and the other girls are like shaming her, and she's like, It's Saturday. I can pig out if I want to. And we were
Oh my
watching this when we're
God.
like children. Literally, we're like 11 years old. And that's the messaging that we're getting, you
And
know?
a lot of Hayden's lines are like this in
Totally.
lots of different media that we've seen her in.
Yeah, it's so true. It was like not just nobody like thought about it that way, I think, when we were younger. Cause it's like these girls are elite athletes. They probably do have to have really strict diets. But then to say that eating a quarter cup of cheese is like pigging out, there's not even dressing on this salad.
Yeah, and also I just hate it. I think it like perpetuates this like pick me culture where it's like I'm not like other girls who only eat salads. It's like
Yeah.
with women in food in the media, it's like we demonize these people who are on these restrictive diets and we act like it's so embarrassing of them to like be trying to be thin. Meanwhile, we love the thin characters. We demand that they're thin, and then we have all the and you have to be like a thin character who like pigs out in front of boys all the time for them to be like, wow, you're like a real girl, or you're not like other girls. And it's like that doesn't exist. Like Rory and Lorelai, like their eating habits, like that's not healthy. They eat
Hmm.
so much candy.
There's also like this idea that if you have requests or like strict dietary needs that you have to follow, that you're somehow high maintenance. And I think that
Yes.
also comes from the media. Like if you can't have
Yes.
gluten or dairy and they have to make special exceptions for you at a restaurant, it's like you get the sense that you should be embarrassed by that or that you are like
Yeah.
a burden because you
It's a
can't have certain
punchline.
things. Yeah.
It's a punchline. People make fun of it all the time. And like I've recently been on a very restrictive diet, hashtag low FODMAP. And
Shout out.
I do feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
And it's like I know that I don't need to, but I do feel like I'm like, oh, I'm gluten free, and then also I can't have this and I can't have this, and I'm like, I'm on a diet, and I'm like, for my doctor, like, but
Hmm.
it's also none of your business. Like people
Exactly.
have, yeah, people have restrictive needs, and then it to be, yeah, to be demonized like they're, the girl from a Cinderella story is just, ugh,
Hmm.
can we be done with
Exactly.
that?
Hmm. I think that we're heading that way. There's a lot of people now are like, don't, I hear all the time, like,
Yeah.
don't comment on people's bodies. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like, there's no need in this movie for there to be talk of what people are eating or not eating. It
Yeah,
doesn't have
it's
any
like,
bearing on the plot.
are you trying to fill up dialogue? Like
Right.
it reveals something more interesting.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. Um, this movie also has an incredible soundtrack. Um, Hayden Panettiere has a song. Raven Simone, who we've talked about on this pod. She's
Yeah.
got a song. Jump 5, Ali and AJ, Jesse McCartney. And there's a song called If I Had It My Way by Emma Roberts, who would go on to star with Hayden Panettiere in Scream 4. So fun little connection there.
Oh my
They'll reunite.
gosh. And I know that like Hayden and Raven are friends. We have pictures of them like going to each other's premieres and
Yep.
like even Raven's being like, "Oh, I remember that because that's Hayden's thing."
Super
So it's
cute.
like there was a relationship there. That's so cute.
I wonder if they've kept in touch all these years later. I mean, it's natural to like not, people go their own way, but it'd be fun.
I'm
We got a
gonna go
little
my own
reunion.
way.
Another,
Yeah,
one more fun fact. If I can just share a pure fun fact about this movie,
this better be fun.
it's pretty fun. Both of the mother-daughter duos, Jane Cusack and Michelle Trachtenberg, and then Kim Cattrall, also How I Met Your Father, another Hillary connection, and Hayden Panettiere, share the same birthday. So Joan
What?
Cusack and Michelle Trachtenberg are both, I think, October 11th, and then Hayden and Kim Cattrall are both August 21st.
That is so weird and
Is that
random.
fun enough?
That was pure fun.
Woo! I thought it was a fun one. Had to get
That
that
was
in
really
there.
good. Oh my God, that's really good.
Thanks.
Wow.